How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the live stream and episode here on Let's Build Twitter. So I was trying to get myself familiarized with what we worked on last episode. I don't remember exactly because it's been the weekend and everything, but I think I remember working on the search and getting all that working. So I was trying to log in and we actually have a bug. So if we come back into our application, if I just go ahead and go and sign in, and I can sign in with unknown coder, next, and then our password, and then log in. We log in just fine. But if we open up the console and try to search for like Rick, you're gonna see we get a 401. And that is because we're actually using our JWT wrong. So I was unaware of this, because it's been a long time since I actually used that JWT token that's stored in memory. If we actually go into our application, I believe, so it still shows it, but it's actually empty. It's kind of weird. So basically, what's going on is whenever we actually call this, it's more or less resetting the token, and that's why we have that big use effect inside of our homepage. So if we actually go into homepage really quick, if I can find it, so home.tsx, we have this big use effect that's setting the token. So we need to avoid using this, so I actually can get rid of this. And if we actually bring in, and this is going to be a little bit weird, but we're going to bring in const. Let me actually go back, and we're going to actually get rid of this. We're going to import, I think it's called get user token. It's not get user, is it get, no, it's not that. It might just be token, so we might just need the state. So let's import, and we're going to import our root state. And I don't think we need, I don't know why it keeps adding an extra thing there. And we also need to import our it's not use context, use selector. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it above our state. Import, I'm just gonna call this token equal to, and this is gonna be use selector. And we're gonna have state colon root state. And we're gonna pass in the state dot, I'm pretty sure this is user dot and then token. Now this should be set up. Now what is use selector's problem? Again, I don't know why it keeps adding an extra. Use selector and error. Let's see. That's closed. That's closed. Cannot find namespace use selector. Should be from React Redux. Let me try to import this again. Import use selector, and I don't know why it keeps adding that extra, and I don't know why it's not finding use. Oh, whoops, this should be const. Const token is equal to use selector. Token is declared but never used. That's fine. They're gonna pass token in here. I don't know why it was working yesterday. Maybe I copy pasted it, or not yesterday but the other day. I don't know why it was working, but now it should be set, because now if we actually refresh this, I'm pretty sure it's going to log us out. Actually it didn't, so I don't know what's going on with this, but let's try to search for Rick, and sometimes it clears it, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. If we search for Rick, there we go. Now they all search up. It's going to be mad at us about the unique key, but that's fine. So now we can continue working. So whenever we search for a user, we need to basically have, and actually this looks different. I think Twitter changed since the last time we even worked on it, because it looks like now there's like a search icon at the top as well. So we come in here to discovery search bar. Excuse me. We have our search content. We have a close icon, although we want the discovery drop down, I think, actually. So there's a search content, it says search for, and then try something, search content, and we have go to. So it looks like we have another one now, and Twitter might have literally just changed. So class name equal to discovery dash search dash drop down dash what do I want to do this? I don't know what to call this. So this is like search content box or something. This is not a great name for this. And thank you for not closing that and almost making my life difficult. So here we need a hourglass. Let's go to Material UI really quick. And let me find an hourglass. It's probably called search icon. And we probably already have it. Actually, if I think about it, I think if we go to our search, yeah, we want this search icon right here. So let's go ahead and grab this search icon. And then let me go ahead and come back into here and import search icon. Okay, and now we're gonna have a search icon, and we will need some sort of, I don't know, we'll need some sort of SX on that. And I'm guessing if you click on this, it's gonna take us to the search, but we're not gonna deal with that right now. We'll kind of deal with that later, and that did not do what I wanted to do. I wanted to clear it. We also have a recent searches that we'll have to maybe think about as well. And then it looks like if you like search for like something like, I guess, more general, it has multiple options, like it completes it, but I don't think we're going to deal with that. That's a little bit more advanced. Basically, it's going to p tag with a class name equal to discovery dash search dash drop dash down dash search content box whoops, text maybe. Again, I'm terrible at naming things. And then here we're gonna have the content. I'm assuming it's called content. Oh, it's called search content. So now if we take a peek at this, we come in here and I have Twitter open on the side. So now it says, although you know what? They just changed. Actually, what Twitter did is instead of having, so Twitter, instead of it saying search for so-and-so, now it's just a search icon, which I don't know why Twitter always changes this stuff. So now instead of saying search for, it's actually, this is going to be a p tag, or it's going to have a div now. Div class name equal to, I don't know why Twitter always makes changes. Discovery, search, drop, down, content, wrapper maybe. And then make the div, close off the div. What in the world was even that? I don't know. So close off that div. And then copy this paragraph in there, and let's also clean this up a little bit. And so this will technically have an on click on it that we'll do later. So I'm going to go ahead and throw an on click equal to, and this is just to remind us that it goes navigates, whoops, navigate to the search page and do the search is basically what this does. And then so now instead of saying search for content, it doesn't have these anymore, and it just has the content. And then above this we're gonna have oh, I forgot if I didn't copy that search icon, we're gonna have the search icon. So small change, but it's not too bad. So now if we come back into our application, you can see this obviously needs styled, but it should be pretty simple. So let's go ahead and start working on the styling and whatnot and kind of see what we get to. We obviously want to be able to eventually click on one of these people and go to their profile. So that means we'll probably need to start setting up profiles and stuff like that. Make sure that if we're not on the current person logged in, you know, we don't show stuff. But let's go ahead and start styling this. So let me go ahead and take a peek at a couple things here. I want to mainly see like sizes and stuff. So the hourglass is 20 by 20. So we probably want that to be about 20 pixels. And then the text inside has a font size of 15, and then it's pretty small. So let's go ahead and come back into our code. And inside of our CSS, wherever we have it, excuse me. So our drop down result.css, is this what I don't know why I named it drop down, or wait. Okay, yeah, so we need just drop down. We need to clear some stuff out. I'm gonna get rid of a couple of things here. So we're gonna get rid of the search bar CSS. We're gonna get rid of discovery for now. We do not need the, well, we'll keep the result, but we'll get rid of that. Okay, because this spits out a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we already have a drop down that has the width and a fake content. That's completely fine. So now we want this discovery drop down search for. So let's go ahead and grab this. So this one has a specific size. It also has a margin on the bottom. So let's go ahead and do this. And then in here, the size is going to be about 64 tall. So width will be like 100%. Height will be like 64 px. And then we will probably have a border bottom, and hopefully I don't have a, ooh, I do have a padding on this. So I'm going to get rid of the padding here, because if I have a padding there, it's going to scuff some things. So we'll need to remember to put the padding back in other places. But border bottom 1px solid, and we're going to go with the light gray, but I always forget what it is. So we're going to go ahead and grab this. I should have put this in a root. So that's one thing I should have done a long time ago, and maybe one day I'll go back and refactor it and make it do that. So we have the border bottom. That's good. And then we probably want display of flex. We want a flex direction row. We want justify content flex start. Excuse me, we want to align items in the center. And that should kind of pull things together. And then we might also need to do a couple other things. So that didn't do anything. So let me double check. That's what I was looking for. It is. The only issue is that we have yet another wrapper. So we need to deal with this wrapper now, which is basically the same thing. The other thing that we might want to do is, well, I guess we can put the padding on this one, and that might work. So padding, it looks pretty thick, like 16 px, and we need to do the same thing again. So we need a display of flex. If I could type flex, that'd be cool. We need a display of flex. We need to justify content flex start, and we need to align items in the center. In this one, we can simply just say width 100%, maybe width 100%, and we could also say height 100%, because we already set the max height, or the height, I shouldn't say max height, we already set the height to 64 px, so it should bound it. So yeah, so now that looks pretty good. Now obviously we need to set the text and stuff. We probably, realistically, and that's an issue, we're going to have to do a stop propagation there. So that's a good thing that we tested that. So we need some space in there. I think that the, well, actually, I think these profile pictures are just too big. That's why it's sticking out. So we need some space in there. That's going to be easy to fix. We need to make that hourglass a little bit bigger. We might need a little bit more padding. I'm thinking maybe let's try 24 pixels padding. And we can also add 24 pixels elsewhere. And I'm a little bit concerned about this being too much at the top. But I don't know. I think that looks pretty good. Cool. So let's go ahead and grab this guy. So SX equal to. And I think I'm going to keep the colors black because I don't have it on dark mode. But we do want to say font. And you know what? I wonder if we say height of. And do we have. We don't have to put this, we can just do this, right? Height 20 px and width 20 px. And I don't know if you actually have to use font weight. So if we do that, so I actually made it smaller. Interesting. So let's try like 30 by 30 then, because it definitely needs to be bigger. That's the thing. If we try it 30 by 30, that almost looks good. I think I'm going to keep that. The only thing is, no, I think that looks pretty darn good actually. It needs to be pretty big. It's not the same exact hourglass. And I could have gotten the same hourglass, except I think Twitter's is slightly thicker, but it's fine. So I think I'm going to keep that. And now we need to do the discovery drop down content. So this one's pretty thin, and I think I'm just going to keep this one maybe dark gray or black. I'm not 100% sure. Probably dark gray. But here, width will just fit content. Height will fit content. Now, I don't know what'll happen if we go too long. Probably won't deal with that, honestly. Probably say YOLO, whatever. And then I want a margin on the left side of 24px. We want a font size of 15px, and we want a color of, and let's see if this has a, okay, so we also need to do some stuff inside search for, but we'll deal with that in a second. So color needs to be like dark gray probably. So let's grab dark gray. So this one, and then we'll paste that in. And I think we'll also say font weight is 400 just to make sure it's skinny. Now our actual search for box needs a hover. So I'm gonna say dot discovery search drop down search for and hover. And this is going to have a background color, and it needs to be like the light gray, I would assume, except we need to convert this light gray into RGBA. So let me go ahead and convert this to RGBA really quick. So RGBA or RGB, actually hex to RGB converter. So let's go ahead and convert this really quick. Rapid tables is typically my go-to for this. Alright, so it's going to be RGB this. So our background color, and then we're going to grab an A, and then we're going to throw like 0.5. And now the thing is this is going to be really scuffed because I think we're going to need some padding on the top and bottom of this guy. So that means we might want to add just padding to the left and right on this guy, and I need to look into how to do that. It's either 0, and I don't remember. I'm horrible at remembering. So as you can see, it's going to go over the edges there. So what we kind of need to do is we need to add like padding to this, I believe. So if we say, I'm just going to try padding top, like, and I don't know what the padding, what the border radius is. It's 8. So let's try like 8px. And again, I don't know if this is going to work, but no, it did not. It just moved everything down. Okay. So, and I'm pretty sure that overflow hidden also does not work for this. So you have to do some like weird magic trick, but I don't remember exactly what you're supposed to do because overflow hidden also does not work. And that's probably a little bit too far on the margin there. So we might also want to bump the margin down to like 18 or something. So I know there's a way to get this to work. I just don't remember how to do it. So like one option is to make, I guess, this height like 98%. And then instead of putting this on here, you could put it on the content wrapper. Now the only issue is that we'll have to deal with this on the other one as well. So what we could do actually is the search for could be 98% of the height here. Ooh, you know what though? That won't work because we're setting a custom width, right? So yeah, we'd have to do it on the content wrapper. So height 98%, and we'd have to say discovery drop down content wrapper dot this colon hover, and then we have to have a background color here. And if the height isn't fully like the full size, and let's get rid of this. it should be still centered because we're aligning items in the center, but it should be slightly smaller. So I think this should work, although it didn't. Let's take a look at this really quick. So this element, ooh, this is gonna be hard though. This is gonna be really hard to look at this element. Yeah, shoot. And I know there's a way to do this, but I just don't remember how. Because as soon as I click on that, it's gone. Yeah, shoot. So hovering over this, I could probably add a break line or something. But even though we have a height content wrapper, height 98, what if we say like 80%? Let's make it like pretty, you know, you can tell that it's different. Okay, so that did do it. So that's doing what we want. I could probably go a little bit higher than 80%, maybe like 85, and 85 might be pushing it. But Twitter is also very similar to that. And actually Twitter's runs over a little bit. I know there's a way to get the rounded corners. I just don't remember how. And honestly, we might be able to do height 100% here. And then we might be able to do border radius 8px and border none. And wouldn't that be funny if this is all we had to do the entire time? And we're smarter than Twitter engineers. Oh yeah, the issue though, so we need border dash top. Ooh. Or is it border radius? Border top left radius, and we'll say border dash top dash right dash radius. If this is all we have to do, I'm just gonna probably undo all this and add it back into the top layer where I want it. Twitter, why can you not figure this out? Like for real. Okay, we're getting rid of this. So we want to add the hover effect for the search for. We're gonna go ahead and say dot discovery drop down search for and colon hover. And we're gonna go ahead and say border dash top left radius is 8px. We're going to go ahead and say border dash top right radius is 8px. We're gonna have a cursor pointer. We need to make sure that our border is none. And then we also need to go ahead and have a background color, and we're going to have an RGBA of the light gray. So this is the RGB of the light gray. It's going to have an A, and then we're going to select 0.3 maybe, or 0.4. I think we want to go 0.3 and save that. And now if we hover over this effect here, you can see, and that might be too light. And do we have some weird padding going on or something? So there's no padding here, border left. So maybe it's the border. What if we add this border up here as well? Maybe this will deal with this. It's still moving. So that's curious. I'm not sure why it's moving a bit, but I might just say YOLO, honestly, and leave it there. Excuse me, not really care. And I think we might leave it at that. So that part is good to go. So we have a pointer. Whenever we click on it, it's supposed to go to the page. We need to do some refactoring to basically tell it, hey, whenever you click on this, stop propagation, but that is what it is. So now that we got that part done, let's see what it looks like whenever we don't have any content in it. So this one just says try searching for a list or people. So if we go ahead and delete all of this, we need to go ahead and make this slightly bigger. Now this one's a little bit weird because it has some like it must be margin or padding or something underneath of it to make it slightly bigger. Either that or it has just like a size on it, I guess. And that might be also what it is. It just has a size of 300 over 100 for some reason. It's very strange that it's like 100 pixels. So what we might do, and the thing is this is going to be, if we come back in here, this is still going to be the search for, and the search for is height 64px. So trying to think about what we want to do here. We could say like max height, whoops, max height 100px, right? And this shouldn't cause an issue, at least I don't think it should. So we go ahead and type in Rick. It looks fine. And then if we delete this, we can make this 100px. So if we come in here, this p tag, this discovery search dropdown empty, I guess we need to make it 100 pixels for some reason, which is so weird to me that it's such a bigger thing. But if we say height 100px and width 100%, now an issue I can see here is that it's centered. So we might need to wrap this in another div. Although it went the wrong direction, curiously enough. And also we're gonna have to, I think we are gonna have to actually redo this again, because we're going to have to redo this because we don't want a highlight effect on the other one. So we're going to put it on the content wrapper. We're going to say dot discovery search for continuity in the video again. I'm going to do this. We need to add a hover effect on the content wrapper. So dot discovery dash search dash drop down content wrapper, and this is going to have a border dash top left radius of 8px. It's going to have a border of top right radius of 8px. It's going to have a border of none. And it's also going to have a cursor, a pointer, and it's going to have a background color. We need to convert the light gray to RGB, which I have. So it's going to be this. We're going to have an A, and we're going to make this like 0.3 and save that. And now theoretically it should work. So if I search for Rick, although we forgot the hover, so let's go ahead and add hover on it. And save that. So now whenever you hover over it, it looks good. And then now we need to deal with this. So this is not working as I would expect. The other option that we could do is we could change this height to be fit content. Whoops. We can change this height, and let's get rid of this. We can change this height to be fit content, so we could say fit content instead, and then our content wrapper can be 64px. So this is how big we expect this to be. Now the issue is that we want this height to be 100px. I think we're gonna have to wrap this inside of a div. So if we come back in here, actually that worked. It's kind of scuffed though. But now if we search for Rick, it's still working fine. But if we don't have anything, this is kind of weird. I think we're probably going to want to go ahead and, because we want to basically center this. And I think that the padding is probably okay on it. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this into another div just to make our lives a little bit easier. So div class name equal to discovery dash search drop down empty wrapper. And we're gonna actually put the CSS for sizing and everything on that, and we'll just put like a font size and font color and font weight on the actual text. So discovery, search, drop down wrapper. Let's go ahead and throw this in here. So here we can have height 100%, width 100%, right? And this one we want to basically, how do we want to do this? So we might not need display flex. Let's just go ahead and put like font weight and stuff like that on here. So font size is probably going to be 15px again. Font weight is 100%, like 400. And then color will be the dark gray, which should be this one. So let's paste that in. So let's just see if this kind of does what we expect, and then we can maybe add padding and stuff. So it doesn't quite center it, so we are going to add centering, and then we might also want some padding. But if we also add just like padding 24px, it might just do what we want. We don't want it on this, we actually want it on here, and this might actually center it to the point that we want. Or you could margin, or we could center it. But yeah, that's too high. That's too much on the top. But the left and right don't look bad, which makes me curious. What if we do go ahead and put display flex on this really quick? Display flex, justify content will be flex start, and align items. Ooh. So we actually want justify content center, I think. And we want align items. We want flex start on this one, I believe, because of the way that this is. And then we also want some like padding on here of like 24px. We want actually padding left 24px. And actually, no, we want, no, because it'll center. We don't want padding. So let's see. Yeah, so it looks kind of like that. We do want some padding on the top of this though. So padding top would be like 8 pixels. It's very slight. It's not anything crazy. So now I like that. I think that's more or less kind of what it looks like. It's kind of weird that it's not centered and it looks like that, but what can you do? So now I think we move on to this part. So we have this like profile picture and some other information. And so if we actually search for a user, and interestingly, well, I think it's just kind of weird. But what we're going to have here is we're going to have like the profile picture is a certain size, like it looks like about 40 by 40. We're going to have some font. I don't know what we're going to do about overflowing text. Again, we probably want to like have some like ellipses or something, but I don't really feel like dealing with that right now, so we're not going to. So what we're going to go ahead and do is let's go ahead and start just styling this guy up, and then we can style up the rest of the box and stuff. It should like kind of fall in line after that. So now we have the search results, and that's what this guy was. So this one, we're going to copy the drop down search result, and we'll go ahead and do this. So this one will have a height of 67px, kind of weird. Width will be 100%. And then, so let's see what this looks like. So we have an image, and then we have this guy, and then we have that guy. So I didn't really do, or wait, is this wrapped inside of the name section? It is. Okay, that's fine. So we want to display flex this. We want to justify content in the flex start. We want to align items in the center. And we can also add some padding on, we can say padding all sides like 8 pixels, and that's probably fine. Now the biggest issue here is we need to get this image fixed up because it's way too big. So here, whoops, went the wrong way. Grab the image. So width will be 40px. Height will be 40 px. And then I gotta remember how to image fit it. It's not that. Let me search on Google because I always forget to do this. So you want object fit, it looks like. We want object dash fit, which is going to be cover. And then what else do we want here? We want border radius. Border radius 100%. And let's make sure we have no border. So border none. And then on this, we're also going to go ahead and put cursor pointer. And I think these might also have highlight hover effects on them. They do have hover effects on them. So I might do that actually on, I'll do the hover effect on the drop down because we can do a little bit of magic on it. And then we will do the other part elsewhere. So we'll deal with that later. So this should start looking a little bit better. Excuse me. Except we never imported the CSS, I bet. Nope. So imports dot slash discovery search drop down results.css. That should fix that issue. So now if we come back in here, there we go. So it's already looking a lot better, and we might be able to get away with more space on the side, maybe like 12 pixels. So I will go ahead and add I'm gonna say like 12 0, and let's see if that does top left and right or top and bottom. So we want actually 0 12, so 0 12 px, and let's check this. There we go. Okay, so that looks good. From here, what we want to go ahead and do is let's go ahead and deal with this div. So discovery yada yada yada. So let's go ahead and paste this guy in. So here we want the width to kind of be like the remaining area, which is, I guess we don't know, which is kind of annoying. So maybe we say width, although we know the width of our entire box if we go into the CSS here. So the width of the entire box is 350, and this is 40 minus 12, and then there's 12 on the other side, so 24 minus 350 would be like 325. So let's go 320 just to give ourselves some space. Pixels and height 100%. And we want to take a look to see what this looks like. We like background color blue. We can see if it looks good. So if we come in here, you can see looks a little bit weird, you know, because we haven't gotten it all set up. But that looks kind of good. And if we need to add a little more space, we can make it a little bit smaller. But let's get rid of this. And actually, we might go like 300. And we can actually go, instead of flex start, we can justify content space between maybe. And let's see what space between looks like. Let's put the background color back on, throw the blue back on. I just want to kind of see what this looks like. So now it's still a little bit close. So maybe, because that should justify content in between the PFP and the name section. So let's go like 275 pixels. See if we can get some space here. Yeah, so that might be too much space yet. Although, it's hard to tell with the profile picture because you can't really see where it ends. Well, no, that might be okay. We might be able to work with that. Let's go 280. Just give us a little bit more space here. and I think we'll leave it at that. So let's get rid of this dark background color, and I'm trying to think about what we really need to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and say overflow hidden on all of these, and I think there's a text overflow. We will go ahead and say ellipsis, just I guess for the heck of it. And then let's go ahead and grab the rest of these. So now we have another div with nickname section, and nickname section has a bunch of stuff. So let's copy this, and we'll go ahead and paste this. So width on this one will basically fit content. It'll get cut off if it's too wide. And then we'll have height as fit content. It's not going to be that wide. We need display flex. And here we'll go ahead and justify content, space evenly, nothing crazy, and align items in the center. I don't think we need anything else here. And we're not going to see too much going on just because of the fact that we don't have people verified right now. So you're not going to see really these verified stuff all that much right now. You're just going to see nickname, which the nickname we need to have no margin. It's messing with some stuff. So let's do this. Margin 0, padding, whoops, not passing, padding 0, and then we'll also bump the font size down probably. But now you can kind of see there's a difference there, and there's still some margin on the top of this. So that's kind of mess with stuff. So on this one, it's still going to be 15px. So font size will be 15px. And I'm wondering if this one we should keep black. So we might keep this one black. And then font weight will be, I'm going to try 800. It might be too thick, but it's kind of thicker and it stands out. So I like that. Now we need to fix up the other part. So we need to fix up the discovery search username, and this one will basically probably just want to do this. So whoops, not there, dot, and I just copied nothing. CS or VS Code, why is that a thing? I don't get it. So here, let's go ahead and have margin 0. Oh my goodness, my keyboard. Padding 0. And then font size looks like it's a little bit smaller, but it's not. It's just thinner, 15px. And font weight will be 400. Save that. And now it should kind of come together. So now this is really tall up here. So we need to think about what's going on with that. So I don't know. It's got to be, I don't think it'd be the justify content space between. I think we want to keep that. It's got to be the name section. So let's go ahead and add a display flex on this as well, and justify content in the center, and this one align items in the center. Although we might not want to center it, we might want to change it up a little bit. Yeah, so we need also to say flex direction is going to be column on this, and then I think this is going to center it. Yeah, so now we actually want this one to be flex start, and it'll start it on the left side, although it didn't. So we want, I guess, that to be center and this to be flex start. I might be backwards here. There. So that looks good. We probably do want a little bit extra space between those. So our options are either to add more padding, or we could bump this down a little bit to like 270, and that'll probably add some extra space. So yeah, like that. And there we go. So that's kind of how that looks. So now we do want a bit of a hover effect on these. So you can see there's no hover effect on them. We need a hover effect on them. So that will be easy enough. And if we actually click on this, it'll go to the user's profile. So that's obviously what we want to work on in a little bit. So let's go back in here. And I think that's everything inside the result thing itself. We have everything styled. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this and close this. And now inside of our dropdown.css, we need to work on, so I think we already did results. Maybe we didn't do results. Let's grab results. So, okay, we haven't actually done results. So this will just be fit content. So we'll just go ahead and say fit content. Actually, height is fit content. Width will just be 100%. And I don't think we need anything else on this. I think this is going to basically do it. So looks the same, nothing crazy, everything's fine there. Now we do want to, actually we won't, this one again, I don't think we really need, because we're not really doing anything with it. So we probably could have gotten away without using either of those. Now the discovery search drop-down result, I'm thinking maybe we should have, well, I guess we can wrap it in a div, it won't hurt anything. Maybe we should have done it slightly different, but it is what it is. So I guess what we could do is this. So I'm pretty sure inside of this guy that is discovery search drop-down result, if we go into there one last time, I know we just closed it. I'm pretty sure we just say height 100%. Actually, we say height. Ooh, we say height 67. So let's do this. Let's take this 67. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go into our drop-down CSS. And our drop-down results. So what do we want to do here? So drop-down results, I guess we'll keep the same. The list is also basically going to be the same, but I want to add a div here. And realistically, we probably don't even need this class. In all honesty, this could just be a fragment that does nothing. Div class name equal to, and here we'll go ahead and say discovery dash search dash drop down result wrapper. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm going to set the height to what I want here. And then what we'll do is set up the hover effect inside of here. So here we'll copy this, and then we're going to go ahead and come back into our drop down and do this. So the width will just be 100%. And then the height, the height will be 67 pixels. And we're going to go ahead, and this will have a display flex. So we're going to go ahead and say display flex will justify content flex start, flex start, and align items in the center. Now you're not going to see much difference right now, or at least you shouldn't see much difference. So it looks the exact same. Now what's going to be different here is now inside of our result. So inside the result itself, now let's go ahead and say that the height is like 80% instead of that pixel. And then what we can go ahead and do is say dot discover drop down results. So let's copy this and paste it, colon hover. And then we can go ahead and have a cursor, a pointer. And then what we can go ahead and do is after cursor pointer, we can have our background color. And this is going to be that same background color over here. So let's grab this RGB. Let's copy this and paste it in there. And whoops, I went too far. So let's get rid of the background color. So now, fingers crossed here, this should go ahead and kind of do the same effect that Twitter has. Now that's way too big, so this should be more like, so let's go like 90%, and we'll see what this looks like, and then we'll kind of go from there. So 90%, That looks good. So it doesn't do the whole thing. That's what Twitter does. What can you do? It's kind of weird. It is what it is. So there's that. Now the last thing is this go to Rick. And again, this one also has a hover effect and a couple other things. And its size is about 52 pixels. So let's go ahead and come back down here. And this one is inside search content. It's not inside the results though. It is, or is it inside results? So it is inside results, but I don't think it matters. So let's go ahead and grab this go to and copy it and come in here and let's deal with this. So dot this. So again, width would just be 100% as always. Height is going to be 52px. And then we'll go ahead and say display flex so we can easily go ahead and center this. Display flex. Once again, we're going to go ahead and have our justified content flex start. We'll have our align items in the center, and then we'll have a padding of like 8px. And if we need to bump it up, we can, but I think 8px will probably be fine. The other one says padding 24, but it also is a little bit weird and scuffed, so it is what it is. So yeah, we probably want to go ahead and bump that to like 12. And we're gonna say 0, 12px. I really just want it on the left and right. So yeah, we might go with that. I think that might be okay. I don't want to mess with it too much. We might bump it to like 16. Again, I don't want to mess with it too much. So now we'll go ahead and grab discovery, search, drop down, go to. So do this. Okay, and actually let's go ahead and do the hover effect on this guy. So copy this, paste this, and let's go ahead and say colon hover. Now this one is going to be like border dash bottom left radius is 8px and border bottom right radius is 8px. And then what else do we need? We obviously want a cursor pointer, and we're also going to want a background color of this RGBA. So let's scroll up. We're going to steal this RGBA again. Let's yoink that. And here we just had border none cursor pointer, so we might also want to throw border none on there just to be safe. So border none. And let's make sure the hover effect works. So we come in here. Looks bang on to me. Looks pretty good. Now we're gonna go ahead and show up to like 8 or 9 on this. So if this was like more realistic and had a whole bunch of people, it would show like 8 of them. So it is what it is, but cool, that looks good. So now we need the go-to text, which is once again 15px. So font size 15px, font weight it's gonna be 400, and then color will be our dark gray. So let's just grab dark gray. So I think that all looks good. Copy that, and if we come back in here, go to Rick. So if we click on this, we want to go to @Rick if it exists. I guess if it doesn't exist, I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe we just want to go back to like the search page or something. And then if we go to any of these people, we want this to go to their profile page, and we click on this, we want to go to the search page. So right now, I don't care to go to the search page. I want to be able to click on someone's profile, and I want to be able to basically be like, okay, I want to go to their profile, click on it, and it goes to their profile. I can click on follow. Let me make sure I pause that so it's not playing sound. And we can click on follow, and that's the biggest thing. We need to be able to follow people to actually be able to basically see their posts, to do the feed page, and get to all of that stuff. So something that we probably want to go ahead and do is So I did this in my last video, or my last tutorial, is we set up kind of like a template page, right? And then we can kind of switch content out inside the layout. And that's more or less what we need to do, because this is all more or less the same outside of the center content. The right side almost always has a search bar. The left side always has where you're at. And then the middle like has some information, right? The middle is what's different between all of this. So whenever we click on Rick Sanchez, the first thing we need to do is we need to make it so that it ignores that. So where's our on click at? So we don't actually have an on click. So we need to add an on click to, where do we want to add it at? We could probably add it on this discover search bar if we wanted to, or we could add it here. The thing is, we have the user's nickname and username, right? So if we have the username, we can basically take off the @ symbol and navigate to a specific place. So maybe we go ahead and add it on here. So on click is equal to, and we'll say navigate to profile, to user profile. Okay, and then inside of here, we'll go ahead and say const navigate to user profile. Whoops, is equal to react dot mouse event on a, this is a div element, HTML div element, and let's do this, and then we're going to go ahead and say e.stop propagation, and fingers crossed this works. And then we can just do that. I want to set up our layout page, and it's going to take some refactoring here, so I might not get as far as we had hoped tonight, but I just want to go ahead and get that. So I'll be right back. I gotta do something real quick. All right, sorry about that. So we want to, let's just make sure that the stop propagation is working. So if we come in here, go to rake, we click on this. Okay, it's gonna be pain in the backside. So we're not stopping propagation, and I'm guessing, let's see, so our search bar is not where this is going down. Let's check the discovery.tsx. So this is where it's happening on the toggle and then, so actually I think it is, so it's got to be the search bar, right? Because it's probably going on focus and off focus. So this is what I love about this. It's closing it because we're not focused. So we want the drop down to be open. So show drop down is just Boolean true or false. And actually, where does show drop down actually get set, I wonder? So this is just a use state with false. And we pass toggle drop down to the search bar. So we go into the search bar. Toggle drop down gets called where? On focus. So that's no bueno. What we probably actually want is, so I think we only want to toggle drop down if the content is empty. So on blur, we'll say if not search content or whatever we call this, if not search content, then we want to toggle drop down to false. Otherwise, we want to keep the drop down open. If we clear and click off of it or whatever, that's fine. And then we can also toggle the drop down. So let's also go ahead and go into a discovery. And in here, I'm also going to throw in toggle drop down. And we can add this as well. So toggle drop down equal to update show drop down. I want to keep this open unless we like clear everything out, we click off of it, or if we like clear or whatever. So, and we might have some weird stuff going on with the search bar with this, but it is what it is. So if we go into our discovery drop down, let's go ahead and say interface, and then we'll say discovery drop down props equal to, actually don't want equal to, and I called this toggle drop down. So toggle drop down, and this, I think it takes in a Boolean. So this will take in a value, Boolean, like a type, and it'll return a void. Can't type though. Cool, and then let's go ahead and pass in those props. So discovery context, whoops, that's not what we wanted. Discovery drop down props, and then let's go ahead and break apart toggle drop down. And basically what will happen is if we navigate, then we can go ahead and toggle drop down, I guess. So let's go ahead and toggle drop down whenever we do this, and then false, which kind of makes it hard to know whether or not it's actually working. But if we click on this and we click off, now you can see it stays there because even though we technically unfocused, it's still there. Now if we click this, and that should have worked. Interesting. Oh, it worked after a second. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if I want to put too much time into that. So maybe, you know what we could, no, we don't want to go ahead and toggle it. If search content, theoretically, not search content should have worked there, but you never know. So we type in here, click off. Okay, it seems to be working. We say like Rick, it shouldn't be empty. Shouldn't be empty, so it's fine. Okay, that's fine enough to me. Now we're gonna have to work through a couple things. So like you might like, so like that is supposed to be covered on top of this. We also need to deal with the recent, but at the current time, I'm not dealing with that. So let's, I guess, take a look at like layout page. Now I'm gonna go onto GitHub really quick because I have some code that will probably help me out quite a bit here. Is that what we do? Okay, cool, it's fine. So give me one moment. So we're gonna want to like set up a layout page that basically is more or less this, has the left, the right, so on and so forth. We might also want to clear the content out whenever we navigate or something, but we'll figure that out. So we want this guy set up, we want this guy set up, and then we want to inject the middle. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to come back into our code, and inside of our pages, let's go ahead and make a new file. I'm going to call this layout page.csx. And I don't know if we actually need CSS on this. We might, we'll see. Import. And I don't know if we need useSelector. I will go ahead and grab outlet for sure from React-router-DOM. And I think there's another one called like use. I don't remember what this is called. It's not href. It might be use location. That might also be helpful for something else later on down the road. So let's go ahead and export. And I forget how we're making these pages. Are we doing these export default? Let's see. So no, we're just export const. Okay, so export const, and this will be called layout page, which is a react.fc. And then equal to, we'll just do an arrow function like so, return, and we're gonna go ahead and return a div with a class name equal to layout page. I don't know, I don't know if we need this. We'll see. I don't know how our other pages are set up, I don't remember. So we can move some things around here, and we might do some refactoring later on. I'm not gonna go crazy. But basically what we want is we want what's inside of our homepage. So we want the navigation on the left. We want the middle section, which can be dependent on what is actually being showed. And then we want discovery. So let's go ahead and copy this, since this is basically on every page. And there might be some outlier pages so I have to deal with. So that'll be fun, I guess. So inside of our Outlook, inside of this page, let's go ahead and grab this. Let's go ahead and import navigation from components. Let's go ahead and grab. So this one is not going to be feed anymore. This is actually going to be called outlet. Okay, and then discovery we'll keep, and we'll also go ahead and probably set up a couple things. So what I'm thinking was go into home.css. So home just has this. So let's go ahead and grab this and copy it. And now we're gonna make a new CSS called layoutpage.css. So new file, layout page.css. And there's gonna be some stuff that we had to deal with that's gonna get a little bit funky, and I'm a little bit scared of. So this will be layout page. This will be layout navigation section. This will be layout content section, and then layout info section. And then save that. So now I'm gonna paste this in here. So now this will be layout page. And actually, we can just call it layout because we just called the other one home. So copy this. This will just be called layout. And then this will be, this one's .home layout. So here we don't have a home layout. Let's see what this looks like. So home CSS. So what do we want to do about this guy? And this is going to be a lot more refactoring than I thought it'd be. Shoot. So home layout. I'm going to change this back to layout-page. And we're going to say div class name equal to layout. And this is a little bit weird, but bear with me here. I'm just trying to get this to work. And then if we can get it to work, we're going to move forward. So now we have this guy that just needs to do that. So dot layout will be this. Then we have layout navigation section, layout content section, and layout info section, I believe is what we did. So layout, navigation, content, yada yada yada. Now, right now, we're not going to see any difference. So if we come in here, it might be broken or something, but we don't really see any difference. Let's clear this out. I don't know why that doesn't go away. I'm not going to worry about that at this moment. So this is kind of like our basic layout page, and this outlet is going to allow us to inject any data that we want. And this is where things are going to get kind of crazy. So technically, we probably won't even actually end up using home anymore. We'll probably just inject the feed into that section, which is really crazy. And we can also kind of keep track of like Discover and a couple other things, right? So now we have to set this up in a specific way, like inside of our app.tsx with our routes. So inside of our app.tsx, we're going to have our router. And I'm gonna make sure this is browser router, okay? Global style find, and then we have our router, and we have some routes. So now our slash, what we're gonna do is if we just go to slash, although let me think about this for a second. I gotta think about how we want to do this. So I think we're gonna want slash. So slash goes to nothing right now. We need to be smart about this because we're gonna use our layout page. So we're gonna do this goes to landing, and then we're gonna have our new route. So this is gonna break a lot of stuff, so I'm just gonna wrap this here so we can always go back at any point. So we're gonna have a route with a path equal to slash. The element is going to be layout page, so we're gonna say element equal to, and then it's gonna be layout page. All right. And what I'm concerned about is this. So I'm worried about, because this really needs to go to like slash, it's not really home. I don't really know what Twitter calls this page. I think they just call it their slash page if I go to Twitter. Yeah, it's like their nothing page. And maybe I can say exact, or let's see, React router dom exact routes. I know there's a way to kind of declare it as exact. And this is like React router 6. So let's see here. There's a way to do, excuse me, there's a way to do like an exact path. But I don't know how to do it in React Router 6. Because they changed a whole bunch of stuff inside of React Router 6. So that doesn't help me. React Router v6 exact path. So let's see. So this one says that the paths match by default, so we can just do this. Do I trust that? No, but we're gonna see what happens. Maybe it'll work. So now basically what we want to do is if we go to route path equal to So we do want the slash there. We want this there, I think. And then this will be slash home. And if we go to home, we want element equal to, and then this is going to be like feed. And maybe instead of home, we want this to say feed. I don't know. We go back to Twitter's feed. So it does say home. So we will say home. But we want our element to equal to our feed element. So grab feed, which is what was inside of our homepage. And we also need to make sure we close that out. So if we go to our old homepage, we had feed there, and that was kind of like the feed content. Now what sucks about this is that for any of this stuff to work, we're gonna have to basically refactor and bring in all of this stuff. But I'm gonna see how broken it is. So we come in here. It's very broken, okay. But the good news is you can see our search bar, so that's there. And you can see this guy, so that's there. This is broken. I don't know why it's not pulling your username because it probably doesn't have our JWT. And that's expected. So that's good. So let's double check all of our stuff here. So .home, if we go into home.css. So .home has this flex yada yada yada. So inside of our layout.css, we have .layout, and that's the issue. So this should be -layout page. Right, layout page, and then layout. So this should maybe fix that, except it's probably going to log us out. Okay, so it didn't fix that. Let's make sure we actually imported .css. So import /layout page.css. Save that. And this is going to work until we find something that doesn't actually use this layout anymore, and then it's going to scuff everything. But it is what it is. So now that's good. I need to see where this home comes in. I'm assuming this home is inside that profile page. And I just realized Twitter doesn't even have that home anymore. So we could probably just get rid of that. So we go into our feed, and this is getting really sloppy, and it's going to be really sloppy for a little bit here. And let's close out of a couple things so we don't need the components. So features, and then we want the feed components, and then let's just go to feed, and I'm guessing it's in feed top bar. So let's go into feed top bar, and it's probably just says home. So if we get rid of this, there we go. That's how Twitter acts now. A little bit different, but it is what it is. I wish we could preserve that top space. I don't know what's going on. So now here's the thing. Inside of our layout page, assuming this is where we want it, we could probably put it inside of the actual page that it's supposed to belong in. So like here, if we go back to homepage, so like edit modal, feed post, creator, image, all of this stuff, it pops up inside of the home page. So what we could do is we could go in back inside of our feed. So if we scroll back to the top of feed, we could throw that all in here. Whenever we click, the only issue I guess is if you click outside of that. So maybe we do want to keep, maybe we will keep this inside the outlet until further notice, or the layout page until further notice. So we basically want to go back into our homepage. Excuse me. And yeah, we'll go ahead and grab basically all of this. So go ahead and copy this, and then go to layout page and come in here. Was this our imports? No, it wasn't. Okay, so Now we need to do some importing. So let's go ahead and import useSelector and import our root state. Okay, so that fixed that. Let's go ahead and add this guy and our useDispatch. Go ahead and grab useNavigate, and things should start working more normally after we get this done. Import this, import this guy, and set token. Okay, cool. Go ahead and import this guy. All right, so that imports all that, and that's going to give us the functionality of the old home page, right? And let's see. And if we wanted to, we could basically keep the home page probably. So if we wanted to, what we really could have done is, I guess we didn't need to do any of that, except it would probably be nice to have this useNavigate on. Although, you can view individual tweets, and I think you can view profiles while logged out, but I don't want to be quoted on that. So yeah, let's do this. We'll keep this on the layout page, but I'm thinking what we do is keep this inside the home page. So I think we get rid of this guy. We get rid of useNavigate and the dispatch. We'll keep the dispatch. We don't need to navigate though. And we do not need the states. So let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. And we'll keep this stuff, and then below this, we'll just have the feed. So this will be our homepage. So now home dot this. So I'm guessing if we go into our home.css, now we can clean this out. So here, we can probably just keep this as is. We might not need. Honestly, it probably won't hurt to have that. Now, how bad do we have this broken right now? So it is still acting the same. So that's good. So now inside of our layout page, we don't need any of this stuff. So, although let me double check our homepage, make sure we brought that back in. We did. So yeah, now here, we still dispatch set token, but we do not need this guy. And we do not need half of this. Whoops, let's grab all of that. And that's going to complain because we're not watching the whole thing. That's fine, I don't care. We don't need this update. Layout, use location. I'm going to go ahead and say once location equal to use location. And we are going to use this. I don't know if inside navigation, so we go into navigation. And we probably don't need to go in here right now, but I don't even know where navigation is. It's probably maybe inside landing page. Landing right sidebar, landing footer, can't be landing. Is there a home page? It'd be the feed, huh? Let's see. Feed post creator. Feed. Oh, no navigation. Navigation could be in components. Okay. So right now, here's the thing. We want to be able to basically highlight the active link. So we want navigation active here. So what we're gonna do is have a prop here. So interface, and this will be navigation props, and this will have a current page, I guess, equal to and then it's going to, this will be a string, not equal to, but we set to a string. We're going to go ahead and pass this into navigation props, and if we want to add more, we can add more, and then current page. So what we can do is we can go ahead and add a use effect. So use effect, like so, and we're going to watch that current page. And then what we need to do is we basically need to set which one of these is active, right? And if none of them really pop up as active, then it is what it is. I wonder why. Oh, that one's just, this should take us to /home. I don't know why that didn't pop up. I don't know why I didn't have that /home. But we need to, so this is kind of ugly, but what we could do here is we could make backticks. So this is really ugly, right? So, and this ought to be like this. So what we can say is we'll have a $sign curly brace here. And what we'll say is current page equal to home question mark. If it is, we'll return this. Otherwise, we'll return nothing. And we can do that for a bunch of other ones, right? So now inside of our landing page, inside navigation, we can go ahead and say current page is equal to, and then we can say our location dot, I don't know if it's path name or search. I'm gonna try path name, and we'll see if it shows like it's active or not. So I think that shows active, so I think that's working. So if we go to like explore, so let's see, if we go in here, and explore is one that we'll have to make. So if we come back into navigation, so if we do the same thing here, this is again not the prettiest thing in the world, but it is. Oh, I guess we have a navigation inactive that we can set it. Cool. So basically we can grab this, copy it, put it inside of our, let's grab the whole class name actually, just to be safe. Grab the whole class name, put it in here. So now instead of home, this will be explore. And we don't have an explore right now, but what we could do really quick is go into our app.tsx, and let's go into our app.tsx, and what we can do is we can have a route with path equal to /explore. And for now, the element can just equal to one of these, and this can just say like explore, just to get this working or to see if it will work. So now we have a /explore route. And now if we actually go, whoops, and if we actually go into our navigation, and we got too much stuff open now, but navigation, and we need the link to /explore, like so. So now if we, explore, so it works, but it's acting like current page equal to explore, except it shouldn't be equal to, let's go ahead and console.log current page to see if it's getting what I expect it's getting. It might be getting a slash or something. I don't know what's getting. So we inspect console. Right now it just says nothing. We click on home. undefined, navigation active. Wait, console.log current page. Why is current page? Please don't tell me current page is used somewhere else in here. No, it's not. I'm confused. Let's go into our layout page and let's console log the location. Although this is only going to change. So we're passing it the location.path name, which is a string. So it does start the slash. So maybe that's being a little bit wonky. So if we say slash home and slash explore, although you would expect it to be the opposite of what we're seeing. So like, click on this, undefined. Where is this navigation active coming from? Why is current page saying it's navigation active? That's weird. Oh, you know what? Facepalm. That's more like it. So now you can see that's active. Whoops, my bad. That looks a lot better. It's getting late here. Please excuse me. Cool. So there's that. This should be working. Now the only thing I'm curious about is the actual homepage. So home.tsx, or not home, landing.tsx, where it's supposed to kick you out if you try to go, if you have a JWT. Now I don't know if we have a JWT still in here. It looks like it. So we just go to slash. So it does do a little bit weirdness there, and that's kind of expected, but this is fine. Everything seems to be working the way it's supposed to. So that was a pretty decent refactor. Now it's 10:30. Only got 30 minutes left. I don't think we're gonna dive in anything else. I think I'm gonna leave it here, make a little bit shorter stream. I haven't been getting much sleep lately, so I think I want to go ahead and catch up on my Z's. So unfortunately, a little bit shorter stream, a little bit shorter episode in general, but we got a lot of good work done. We got some refactoring done. I could go through here and clean some stuff up as well. But yeah, now we can basically use a layout page, and the ones that are different I'll have to go through, but these all look about the same. The side page might be slightly different. This one is slightly different, but I think we might be able to more or less make this work. There's some that are a little bit different, but we can basically fix it and make it work. We're not going to do premium. The profile obviously can be worked on, and then more is going to be different as well. And yeah, so cool. I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode though. Next episode, we're going to hit it hard on getting the profile page set up so we can follow people. And by what I mean by hitting it hard, we're basically just going to make sure that we can, at the very least, hit follow. Whenever we follow someone, we can go ahead and start loading their content onto our screen or onto our feed, which also means we need to load in some posts and stuff like that. I also need to do some research to figure out why the heck my Docker's not recreating my DB each time. So it should be persisting, but it's not. So it should be a volume that persists locally. So I'm gonna take a look at that as well. But I think that's gonna be it. Thank you all once again for watching. Hope you guys understand a little bit shorter video. Next week we'll go ahead and hit it hard. So I'll see you guys in. So again, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. and I'll see you later.